Greetings, Benjamin J. from BENZTRAINZ with another in the series. Well, what you're looking at is the Marx 333. The Marx 333 was designed to compete directly with Lionel's basic engines. So it's much different than any other Marx engine. This is made out of really first-rate castings, first of all. They've been just meticulously finished. I mean, these things are built like guns. They are built really well, surprisingly well, much better than any other Marx locomotive. But in any case, I want to do a quick video on how do you take the thing apart. You look at the rod assembly, and it looks daunting, but it's really straightforward. The eccentric is doing all the work, and everything else just goes along for the ride. So basically, you've got two mounting screws in the front, just like any other Marx engine, and unfortunately you have to completely disengage the linkage because you can't take this rod off the locomotive. So the eccentric, the rod, and the valve all remain with the body. Motor comes out the bottom. So it's going to be really straightforward to do this. So to disassemble it, just make sure you have your valve at the rear. It gives you lots of clearance to get to this eccentric. Now this eccentric is made of pot metal, cast zinc. The rest of this, surprisingly, is made of steel. It is not aluminum, as you see. Everything on here is made of steel except for that eccentric. So you have to be very cautious. It's a square hole on a square shaft. So you want to make sure you get it on there, otherwise you can roll those corners off real fast and the thing will just spin. So first thing you do is use a good fitting screwdriver. Do not attack this thing with a dime store screwdriver. Use a decent screwdriver that really fits that slot so you get a really good bite so it doesn't slip out and mar the screw. So in any case, we're going to remove this screw in the eccentric. I'm trying to do this so I can stay out of my own way. Slightly magnetic, as you see. So there's the screw. Now the eccentric comes off and I just swing it up out of the way. The push rod comes off. There's a steel spacer. Spacer comes off. And that's it. So you take out the front mounting screw. Flip it over. You don't have to move anything. Same position on this side. Take the screw out of the eccentric. And that's why I use a white background, in case one of these things slips out of my finger, I can see it. Okay, swing it up out of the way. Remove the push rod. Remove the spacer. Alright, so we remove the front mounting screw. Flip the engine over, lift the motor in the front, pull it forward and out of the body. There's a spring clip for the headlight. I replaced this with a piece of bell wire. It's just so much easier to use. Okay, body's out of the way, and there's the motor for the 333. Really basic, and you notice the center wheel is not flanged, it is flat. So it's a much different engine than the other Marx engines. The other ones are toys. This one is not. This is a model locomotive. I mean, in every sense of the word, it can compete directly with any Lionel, early Lionel locomotive. Really well made. Just really excellent fit and finish. If you look at this, I mean, this is not a toy. by any stretch of imagination. This is really well made. It's very likely hand finished. I just can't imagine they could cast this stuff that accurately, because some of these tolerances are pretty tight. But in any case, it's the fairly straightforward motor, just like any other Marx motor. It has the two brushes, lift the springs. In most cases on the 333, you can dump the brushes out in your hand. You don't even have to fish them out. These barrels seem much larger than other Marx engines, perhaps just to make it easier to remove them. But in any case, if you're going to be pulling a lot of weight, or a large consist, the engine by itself weighs 3.2 pounds. And so you add another 3 or 4 pounds of train behind it, and you're going to eat brushes. Now, I changed the brushes in this earlier, and I've changed them now, I think, I don't know, 2 or 3 times, I'm not sure. And when it starts to act up, I check the brushes, and they're half of their original size. So that's one thing I've noticed about this engine. Like I said, I've now changed the brushes. I think this is the 3rd time. I'm not really sure. But more than any other engine that I have. But it's really straightforward to disassemble it. There's not a whole lot of parts. It's just make sure you don't mess it up. You don't want to do anything to that eccentric. If it gets damaged, that's the end of the line until you replace it. So, just a quick video. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.